I am interested in Parkinson's disease primarily because of the patients. I've been doing this work for a couple of decades now, and seeing these patients, I've seen them at fundraising events, I've seen them at research studies, I've seen them at foundation events, I've seen them in pre and post DBS surgeries, I've seen them often on their medications, I've seen how they change over time, and all of those instances I see the links that they go through to improve their own care and improve their own treatment. To see how they are actually in the game, it really motivates me to sort of stay in the game for a long, long period of time. We're all trying to find a measurement or a biomarker or a set of biomarkers that can help therapeutic trials. I mean, I think that's the end state goal. And so I think the ultimate solution is likely going to occur from a multitude of markers. I doubt that it's one particular marker that is going to work or be the most effective. So you have molecular approaches, imaging approaches, clinically oriented approaches, and ours is in the imaging space. And so I'm just hopeful that what we have developed or are seeing in our data will influence the other sorts of areas. I'm also hopeful that the pharmaceutical companies will see the work that's ongoing and hopefully use their money to invest and actually leverage that investment that the federal government has put into these studies to actually sort of use it going forward. Because ultimately, if we can't influence pharmaceutical companies in the way that they're actually running trials, then we're not going to make much headway. So hopefully they will leverage what exists and move forward. I think it'll hopefully help them in, I think, three fundamental ways. One is we're trying to better understand the biology of the disease and really understand which regions of the brain are affected, how these circuits interact with each other, and how they change over time. The second way is if we understand how they change over time, then we'll be in a better position to provide readouts for a disease-modifying trial. And so ultimately that will influence patients because they're therapeutic trials, and hopefully those will be successful and help patients. The third way is we're really interested in comparing Parkinsonism as this umbrella term, and Parkinson's disease is one component of Parkinsonism. And so we're really interested in finding really objective ways to distinguish these various different diseases so that we can improve trial success in each of these diseases, because ultimately one does not want various forms of Parkinsonism in each of the different therapeutic trials. And so we want to be able to help provide objective measures to differentially diagnose patients and improve therapeutic trials going forward. If you look at the investment from NIH over the last decade or so, you have huge advances in the way the brain is visualized and quantified. And what we're trying to do is leverage that investment and leverage that technology to apply it to Parkinson's disease. And so we're hopeful to learn new ways to see what's going on in the brain, but also new ways to measure it and new ways to use those measurements to evaluate treatments. For the last 5 years, 10 years or so, we've really been in our own lab and we've been at our own site. And so I think that that's a very useful way to do science. But I think if you want to have a larger impact, you have to start working with others. And so we're trying to move across sites, to move outside of our own cohorts and move into other cohorts and ask questions in combination with other investigators. And so that's what we're trying to do going forward, is work with other people to leverage data sets, large data sets, to ask similar questions, but see if they are consistent answers to those questions across sites in the United States, but also outside of the United States.